This meeting of the City of Eureka Springs City Council come to order. Clerk will do a roll call, please.
Joyce Selder.
Here.
Terry McClunt.
Yeah.
David Mitchell.
Here.
James DeVito.
Here.
Vicki Schneider.
Here.
Dee Purkeypile.
Here.
6.
Vice, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Brings us to next item, approval of the agenda. Motion to discuss.
So moved. Second.
All right. Before you have, I guess we can do this now or wait till commission meetings, commission reports. Woody Acord has applied for Planning Commission number 7, position number 7. So you have that in there for nomination when we get down to the planning issue. That's all I've got. Ms. Schneider?
We need to put off number 2 under unfinished business, please, for the next meeting.
Second.
Okay. Postpone. Mr. McClung.
One of the principles of the property on top of the hill down there at Rock Street asked that because their attorney could not be here tonight, if that could be postponed to the next meeting. The reason is because the legal description for the easement is defined to the street as it currently exists, and they were concerned that for the benefit of the bricks, that if it was left there during construction, that it would actually be right in their lap. You know, if a water line was done by the way this reads here, and thought maybe they may want to move it over a little bit on their property and get it a little further away from the structure itself. And so they asked that maybe it be postponed for that reason.
Oh, I don't agree to that.
I don't agree
no,
to that
I
either.
object. No, we postponed this. The bricks are not complaining about it, and they think it's fine.
A survey was discussed at the last meeting that a survey is supposed to be getting done. That's what has not yet been finished.
Okay, we can't discuss it now.
So it's on the agenda. Staying?
Well, if you got to have one person to take it off the agenda and one to second it, just like putting it back on there.
Yeah.
Saying taking it off.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the survey hasn't been done that both parties agreed to.
That's the rules we've been going by. So yes, sir.
I want to add to the agenda the ordinance number 2213 vacating a portion of unnamed Rock Street.
I second that.
I mean, we take a vote on it and approve it as amended or not. So, I mean, if they don't want it, they don't want it. So I think you need to take a vote on it whether you want it on the agenda or not, Mr. Weaver.
That would be at this point, since you've got competing motions to remove and put it on, it should be probably a voice or a roll call vote.
Should we just vote on our thing first? Because if we don't get
Whether
the
to put
vote,
it on or
it
not.
just stays.
Yes.
Okay. So just vote on our thing. Taking it off because they haven't done the survey yet.
Okay, so we had a postpone, we had a second, we had an add, we had a second to that, so it's back on.
It's okay by me.
We had a postponement and a removal.
Oh, I
removal,
see
I'm
what
sorry.
you're saying.
Yeah.
We don't normally vote on either of those.
Okay, I want to make sure this is right now. So
We have a
I see
postponement
where
of
you're going with it. Okay,
unfinished business 2
right.
and a removal of unfinished business
Okay,
1.
removal. Okay,
Or postponement.
I don't know. Can we discuss this? Or is it possible to make a comment on it?
not now. Not
Well, you
during
can
this
vote
point.
on the
Yes,
amended agenda.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I made a motion that we take it off the agenda. It was seconded. So what we do characteristically or normally at a meeting is that once the changes have been made, then we approve that. So
Approve the
apparently
changes,
there's
yes.
some conflict now, so you may want to approve or disapprove this one item right now.
Now that I'm back on track, yes, indeed. Okay. So we had a motion and a second to remove, so it's not on the agenda now.
Well, that's not what I'm saying, sir. What the thing to do is to go ahead and take a vote to see if it's to remain on the agenda or to be lifted from,
Okay, can we do
for
that in this
for
part
this
of it now?
evening.
I think
Roll
you
call.
can where you have competing motions to remove and then to put it back on. Normally, there's pretty much acclamation at the table to remove something. I've never heard anyone strongly object, especially where there's two parties trying to put something back on that's just been asked to be removed. So I think at this point, although it's not been done in this council's term, I think it was done a couple of terms ago when there was a similar situation. Just take a vote on that one particular item, whether it should be back on or off.
Okay, roll call. Stand by.
For on. So we're voting on removing unfinished business 1, correct?
That would be correct because that was the first motion,
Postponing.
to postpone it, to remove it from
Postpone.
tonight.
Mr. DeVito?
No.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
No.
Mr. McClung?
Yes?
Mr. Mitchell?
No.
Mr. Purkeypile?
No.
4-2. No, 2-4. So the motion failed?
Okay, to postpone it.
Correct.
Okay, so it's back on. Okay. So the second issue we don't have to vote on because it's a moot point. Correct, Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Okay. So it's back on. Okay. Anybody else? We're still under approval of the agenda, so. If not, we'll move along. Everybody in favor of the amended agenda, say aye.
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 Everybody opposed? Okay. Moves us down to approval of the minutes for June the 9th, 2014. Motion to discuss?
Nobody got any.
Okay.
Can we do them next time?
We can do them both.
Move
for the
to
next time.
postpone approval of the minutes to our next meeting. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Okay, next commission committee authority reports and expired terms. Before you have an application from Mr. Woody Acord for position number 7 on planning commission. Nominate Mr. McClung.
I'd like to go ahead at this time and nominate Mr. Acord to the planning commission position that is open.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Snyder?
I had planned on saying, and let's have it go into effect tomorrow, except Woody's mom has her 95th wedding or birthday, and he seems to think that is a little more important. So this would be going into effect, if it's okay with everybody, in 2 weeks. Or he'd be making his first visit. in
Okay.
2
Please tell him he can do what he wants to now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been approved.
Yeah, he's been approved, so. All right, don't have anything under CAPC or any of the rest of the commissions at this time. Brings us to public comments. No public comments. Moving right along, unfinished business. The controversial number 1, ordinance 2213, third read on Rock Street.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Floor is open. Ms. Snyder.
Okay, we have several problems and situations that have shown their little heads in the last 2 weeks. Under subject to an easement for the purpose of yada yada. Okay, originally 2 weeks ago that they approved on their second reading, it said a width of 15 feet, which has now been changed to this supposed third and final reading to 20 feet. Guess what, guys? Ain't gonna happen. I have been to the Public Works Director. I have asked in regards to code and footage and so on and so forth. The easement is for the purpose of underground utilities, plural. Okay? That means water and sewer lines. Now, I even had Dwayne draw me a little map. He was going to be here tonight, but his wife is very ill. You have, let's just say, your basic roadway, okay? On this edge of the roadway, you have to have 7.5 feet. On this side, you have to have 7.5 feet. That's the 15 feet. So the original 15-foot forgot all about the stuff in the middle between the edges. Now, when you have water and sewer lines by code law across the country everywhere, there must be 10 feet between the water line and the sewer line. That makes it a minimum of 25 feet of a 30-foot road, okay?
It's not a road.
Of an easement, good Lord, James. So you must have at least 25 feet from edge to edge in order to have an easement for utilities, plural, water and sewer. And that's what Dwayne was going to be here tonight to explain. There's also a 30-foot wide construction easement. Did that get changed?
Yes.
30 foot.
Right, the 30-foot during the construction phase. This is what Marble Flats was talking about in regards to that 30-foot. Are y'all planning this easement to be on this unnamed Rock Street going by your front door and up the yard?
You asking her to come to the microphone? and
Yes,
talk?
would you please? Okay, is this the original one that goes by the front door, kind of curves, and then goes up in the woods across your front yard? Is that where this easement's supposed to be going?
Yes.
Okay, that's what they were trying to say. This 30-foot that's needed for the trucks and all that would be like running into your house.
Marble Flats asked for 20 feet permanent 30-foot easement. I have the email from their attorney. That's what they asked for, and that's what's in the ordinance. Dwayne Allen was at my house last Monday with my husband and I and explained to us that he needs 20 feet and would like a 10-foot construction easement.
Okay,
So he and Marble Flats both, what they said is reflected in the ordinance revision that you have in front of you.
Okay, permanent 20 feet, right here,
That is adequate for both water and sewer.
and a temporary construction easement of an additional 10, making it 30 feet.
Yes, ma'am, and that's what
And
Marble
that's
Flats asked
temporary.
for, and that's what Dwayne asked for
Okay.
also. Yes, ma'am.
No, by code, I don't care what Dwayne may or may not have said, by code, you've got to have 10 feet between water and sewer. That's law. So if you have 10 foot there, plus, of course, 10 foot between them, then you've got your pipes, however big those things are, then you're 7.5 feet. So going back to the 30-foot easement, just to make sure,
Do you have any other questions, Rachel? She was saying here
yeah.
with some questions.
okay, just to make sure, this is the original plot of land that goes by the front door and up through the yard, kind of at a curve, right?
Where it's platted, yes, ma'am.
Okay. The survey that y'all did a pre-agreement for, where each of you would pay up to $250 on a survey, what was that in regards to?
A survey of the easement to be granted.
Okay, this is a survey I was trying to say has not yet been done.
It has not been done, but there's a reason for that.
Okay. Reason?
Originally, when we were approached about giving an easement, it was written as, and this is right, this is their attorney. He indicated, quote, "The easement will be surveyed and the cost split." That sounded reasonable to us. On June 9th, prior to the second reading, it was late in the afternoon. I didn't know this until after June 9th, until after the second reading. It then became, quote, and this is also from Mr. Williams, "The easement will be in the general area of Rock Street," end quote. Now, by Friday, just this past Friday, it now became, quote, "It may be partly on the road and partly on the Brix's property in order to be where Marble Flats wants it," end quote. We can't agree not to develop in an area that's not where the platted street is. What's more, I'm not going to agree to pay for half of a survey to allow someone else to take my personal property from me, so that's null and void. Nothing was ever signed. Our survey clearly indicates the meets and bounds already of exactly where the platted street is. And in addition, at the third reclaim reading on May 12th, Mr. Williams asked us to withdraw our petition, and they would be happy with what they already had, which was a platted street. So moving it off of Rock Street or whatever, that it may be advantageous to us, et cetera. My husband and I don't feel that giving up private property in order for a private entity to have an easement is advantageous to us at all.
Okay, are you sure he wasn't referring to sliding it over so it'd be away from your door? I mean, that's what I would automatically think.
If you'd allow me to get a photo.
Sure.
Mr. Weaver, go ahead.
I just want to caution council with what was passed out a few minutes ago. My reading of that legal description, and I've told you before, I'm not a surveyor, I'm an attorney. That don't close, I don't believe. And if it don't close, it grants nothing back to the city. I would defer to there's people on the council who may know better looking at it, but I don't think it closes.
Mr. Mitchell.
What do you mean?
I'm
close?
incredulous. Every time
A real estate piece of property, in order to transfer title, whether you're given an easement or title in whole, has to close. It has to actually match a piece of ground completely described all the way around, or all the way so that every edge is completely shown and it comes back to the exact point of beginning.
It does.
It doesn't look like it to me. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, you have the
And
floor.
I have never seen this particular description.
That description hasn't changed for all of the ordinances, Mr. Weaver.
That's what I'm going to say. Mr. Weaver, you just amaze me. Absolutely, I've got to say it.
That is not the description. No, Mr. Mitchell.
Let me
no.
finish.
I have the
finished.
floor.
No, sir, I had the
Whoa,
floor. He
slow
gave it to
down.
me.
Mr. Mitchell has the floor.
Okay,
Yes, he
I'm
does.
sorry then. I
Okay.
apologize.
Mr. Mitchell has the floor.
And
for
I
Ms.
will
Seller.
go bring my voice down.
Comment.
That
Address your comments to me. Okay.
That
Go ahead.
description has been on this ordinance since it started. That puts it about a month. Hasn't changed one letter, one number. And then all of a sudden tonight now you decide, oh, it doesn't close.
He's been
oh,
saying it.
last time it was the city. Come on.
He's
That's it, I'm
been
finished.
saying.
Ma'am.
Now you can. You have the floor, sir.
The description has changed because the matter that has been argued before this council has been that there was going to be a survey and that it was going to be a description giving property to potentially to Marble Flats. This now says, for the first time that I've seen, it's being given to the city of Eureka Springs. The city of Eureka Springs is my concern. Marble Flats and what they get is the concern of their attorney. The bricks and what they get is the concern of their attorney. So it doesn't close for my client. Then my client has a right to know that. The city of Eureka Springs is my client.
Mr.
So it has
Okay, all right.
changed into who it's
Let's-
coming to.
We got Ms. Brickstanton here for like 15 minutes.
And,
Yes,
and
go
I
ahead.
want to just point back. When we first started, it was to the city. At that time, you had a perfect opportunity, and you didn't bring it up. So all of a sudden, now you do. I just want to point that out.
Ms. Bricks, you have the floor.
And I want to show you the picture to get back to your question, but I just want to address something really quickly. The description did change into the second ordinance because it was pointed out that it did not close. It does now go back to said unnamed street to the point of the beginning, all in magnetic base survey. It closes on the plat map. The plat map is where the platted street is, where the easement is to be granted. The plat map is what has been given. It starts here, if you read it, and it goes all the way up here to the northernmost point of Lot 1 in a straight line over to here, goes all the way down on this edge, starts here, and then makes a straight line over. It's exactly that, and it is the plat map, and the description was exactly the same. And Mr. Weaver's point about it not being to the city, it was given to the city in the very first draft of the ordinance of the first reading that was passed. It was, in fact, given to the city. Now, as far as to answer Ms. Schneider's question, as far as moving it over, where would you like it to be? Here's where the actual platted street is, and this isn't even the full 30 feet because this cliff has eroded over 120 years,
And that's what I
and that's our
was wondering.
garage here. There is nowhere to move it. except to try to go somewhere else on our property
See,
where it would be exclusively
I
on
was
private
thinking
property.
It was the left side of the street to the house, and you can go to the right.
No, you can see this is a cliff, and that's our garage here. So, I mean, there isn't, if you measure from where the pin is in front of our front door over to this cliff, it's approximately like 27 feet as it is.
Ms. Zeller.
This
Oh, wait, I wasn't
whole,
done.
oh, you still on the floor?
Yeah, I wasn't done yet. Okay, so getting back to the new survey.
Well, you guys, come on. You got to do better than this. Yep.
Well, I'm
What?
continuing on with what I was saying.
You didn't say you had any further, so Ms. Bricks.
Well, I didn't say no, she can sit.
Okay.
So what I'm getting back to is, from day one, our city attorney has been saying this is against the law, the way it is, do not go there, check your bases, do and do and do. Whether or not personally anybody agrees with that, you are here representing what's best for the city, and that means you don't want lawsuits. You don't want to be doing illegal stuff. Take the damn time to sit there and check it out
Watch
and
your
follow
language,
the
Ms.
law.
Snyder.
Well, I'm sorry, it's been a year of this. Do what the law says. If the law needs to be changed, we can do it. If we have to face that there's a problem, we can adjust things. But don't just throw it all away and say, well, we don't like it, too bad. You've got to go by the law. You've got to check into these things. Do it right the first time, not tweaking later. There has been so many changes done on this from day one. First time it came to council, we all went out one at a time and looked. They wanted to put in a greenhouse. Then months later it was a B&B. Now it's nothing. They've agreed not to do anything because of the easement. Now the easement's here, then it's there. I mean, good grief. It's a road, it's an unnamed road. It's
Point
an
of order.
easement. Make up your minds.
Is
This
there a question
has
here?
to be settled.
Okay. Ms.
And
Snyder,
it has to be
Ms. Snyder, I have to
settled
recognize
now.
the point of order. Yes, sir.
Is there a question here? I'm curious.
Is anybody willing to do the job they were elected to do, and that's to represent the city regardless of your personal feelings?
Any further comment? Yes, sir.
I had trepidations with my votes, but we've reached an agreement with both parties in this thing, and I think that's a great accomplishment, and it's unfortunate that we are rehashing this. One of the few times at this table we have reached an agreement, and I'm very proud of that. And I would like this stalling to end, and I'll just leave it at that.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes. I make a motion that we read ordinance number 2213 as amended as follows. First page, subject 2, add the words the City of Eureka Springs, strike the words Marble Flats LLC and Arkansas Limited Liability Corporation. Add the word permanent, strike width of 15 feet, parentheses, number 15. Insert the words 20 feet, parentheses 20, and a temporary construction easement of an additional 10 feet, parentheses 10 foot, totaling the number 30 feet, parentheses 30 feet, during the construction phase only.
Second.
Mr. Purkeypile, you had a comment too, sir.
Mr. Weaver pointed out to me that his concern was not with this first part here where it describes the easement, but in the second part where it says subject to the easement, or to an easement. And I just want to ask you, Mr. Weaver, do we need to go to the effort to reference somehow this particular paragraph above, and would that allay your concerns?
If that's the same piece of property, yes, that would put it there. My concern is the second paragraph. That second paragraph that's giving to my client, who I was elected to defend, which is the City of Eureka Springs, something that I don't think you can map out on a piece of dirt. And if that is true, then we're not getting our bargain. We're not getting anything if the council accepts that second description. The first description I don't have a problem with.
Okay.
It's the second description that I have a problem with. And that is the one that has not been laid out in stone to the city until Mr. Mitchell just now made a motion to do that.
Can I continue?
Yes, sir. Well, you still have the floor.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion then to, I hate to make it so large, But to lay your concerns, if we struck the second paragraph, the last of the added material right here, Mr. Weaver, if we struck from the western border of said unnamed street and running the length of the eastern side of lots 1, 2, and 3 of Block 2 of the aforementioned plat, and we added the description in paragraph 1, would that satisfy your concerns?
I believe that does. I'm going to caution you because I'm not a surveyor, but I think that comes a lot closer to being a piece of property you could lay out on the dirt and get a court to buy. Because I just really don't think if it come down to arguing this in the court, we could win on the second paragraph. First paragraph, it lays out a legal description.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion to do exactly what I just said. That is to strike that one sentence and to add.
We have one motion on the.
Let me withdraw that motion and get that second off so we can go to yours.
I'll
okay?
withdraw the second.
Okay.
Now we cleared that
We're back to Mr.
all that
Purkeypile.
amendment stuff off.
So we can add the first paragraph in substitution for that one.
Then, Mr. Purkeypile, we got to go back and add a little bit up to that point back into yours too to make it complete now, because I retracted that amendment. I retracted mine that said about the city of Eureka Springs and the 20-foot in that part, so we would need to add that back in and then the change you want.
No, that's not what we're doing. We're accepting everything that you changed. You struck and you changed.
Okay.
We're striking an additional partial sentence starting at
From the west.
second page, comma, from the western border,
Okay.
ending with aforementioned plat. And then we would just add that description,
What
which is
description?
the first paragraph in
The actual
bold
property
on page
description.
1, the property description
In that spot.
in that spot.
I second that.
Mr. Weaver's concern is that that second paragraph only says it has a general discussion of lots.
That's fine.
So it's redundant, but if you feel that will be satisfactory, then
I'd love to have a surveyor's blessing on it, but I feel a lot more comfortable.
Okay.
Has that been seconded? Do you need a
Yes.
second?
Was there a second on
I
that?
did
Okay.
second.
All right. Mr. McClung, you got your hand up.
Well, I mean, if two things. One, if we're going to do this, then it needs to be prepared and approved in that form tonight. I mean, it has to be read into the record and everything, and I would like to see that in writing, written out before I vote on that. Also, if you're going to do that, there's less wording that can be used to clear up what Mr. Weaver's talking about. I'm no attorney, but you can make that the easement subject to the easement along the road as it is defined, 30-foot width for construction and 20 feet inside that, however you're going to define it. But it needs to be, if it's going to be spelled out as it should be, then it needs to be in writing so it can be read into the record correctly. So is somebody going to do that tonight?
You mean,
Because I think this council is taking a risk in voting on it without it.
Well, you'll have to make that a motion to
Well,
do
there's
that.
one on the floor already. That's
Yes,
why
there is.
It was made and seconded to be what it was, as Mr. Purkeypile mentioned it, not as what you said.
well, can I address the motion just so that we don't get
Okay.
bogged down?
Mr. Snyder, I'll get to you in a second.
Sorry. And that was my concern. It might be a little wordy, to add that additionally in there. If we could have specific wordage in that portion of the sentence I asked to be struck, referring to the property description in the, how would you say it, in the prior paragraph, the first paragraph of this property description. I mean, we just need to refer to this is all we need to do. Correct?
I would feel more comfortable if it was repeated. I know that is repeating words, but, and again, as I said, I'm sorry, I'm not a surveyor to lay the blessing over it completely, but having seen it done before, from an attorney's perspective, it's usually laid out again.
Okay.
I mean, I really wish we had a surveyor at the table.
Well, no, we can, I leave my motion the way it is. We can cut and paste it. We could can we go to executive session or something? That's not
We
executive.
don't need to be in executive session.
Okay.
This can all be done right here in
Yes.
general session.
Okay. Can we do that then?
Yes.
Madam Clerk?
Ms. Snyder, go ahead.
And I
Okay,
Okay. All right. I didn't see your hand up.
was.
Go ahead.
okay. Everybody had agreed to a survey that should be done, then we would have the proper wording and specifications per our city attorney. It says right here on the second page, any underground utilities installed in the easement area shall be installed and buried to the then existing and applicable building codes. Dwayne isn't here to verify the meeting we had. 20 feet is not sufficient. By not changing it, by not waiting to talk to him or to do your own checking, you are in direct violation of the law. It's been a year. What is wrong with 2 more weeks so we can have proper survey wording? The laws can be looked into, things can be done. This whole thing, as many changes as has been done, needs to just plain be retyped in the proper approved order. Rachel herself said the first time it was read and passed, it said city. The second time, it said marble. Now you're talking about the third time, it said city. This is ridiculous. Give it 2 more lousy weeks after a year. Good grief.
Ms. Zeller.
I'd like, okay, we have solved at this table the concerns of the attorney. The city clerk agrees that can be done, and the mayor agrees it can be done legally. So I don't think we have to delay for that reason. And I quite frankly believe that a lot of the dragging of the heels and the delays on this matter have been completely unnecessary and have been at the behest of not the Brickses, but the other party. I don't know why, but I think a lot of this delay has been unnecessary. And as Terry put it tonight, the Brickses are not, this was agreed to by the lawyers. The Brickses are happy with it. They're not complaining about it. The other people, the other parties are complaining on behalf of the Brickses. And if the Brickses are not complaining, then they don't need anybody to complain about on their behalf. And as far as utilities go, utility companies have the right of public domain. They will put their utilities wherever they want. Thank you very much, and they don't need your permission to do it. And since we're giving these easements to the city of Eureka Springs for sewer and for water and for a road, we own the sewer plant. We own the water company. The company that would build the road, if there was ever going to be a road built, which I doubt, we also own them. So I don't see any reason that we should delay this, and I think we should go on with the vote. I'm going to call for the question.
Mr. Weaver.
Not to dispute what you said, but to mildly again say, I'm not 100% happy with the way we're doing it, but
Duly noted.
if you want to go over my objection, that's fine. I much prefer what Mr. Purkeypile has suggested to put in there than the way it was, okay? And
Okay.
second of all, on Friday when I spoke with both attorneys in the same room, both attorneys told me at that time that there wasn't a complete agreement. So I'm not sure that if you've been conveyed that, I hope you have. But that wasn't the way I understood it from the 2 attorneys on Friday afternoon when they stood in the courtroom above us.
Well, since neither attorney is here to say or deny, I still think we should get on with this. I'm with James.
Okay.
I'm tired of it.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. If the clerk will read the motion back so we'll all be clear on it.
Mr. Purkeypile made a motion to strike from the second page, starting the second line from the western border of said unnamed street and running the length of the eastern side of lots 1, 2, and 3 of Block 2 of the aforementioned plat. and instead putting in the description from the first paragraph on the previous page. It's very specific, and Mr. Mitchell seconded.
Okay, I hate to even
Point of
ask-
clarification, Mr. Purkeypile's motion also includes the changes which are in yellow regarding the purpose of the underground utilities granted to the city of Eureka Springs, or its assigns by Ryan and Rachel Brick, with a permanent 20 feet and a temporary construction easement of an additional 10 feet, totaling 30 feet during the construction phase only. Is that correct?
That was his statement, yes.
That's
That was his
okay.
statement.
That's what I said.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay.
I remember.
Any further discussion on this? Okay, good, let's vote. Let's do a roll call vote. Just so we'll be on.
Ms. Schneider?
Emphatically no.
Mr. Mitchell?
Emphatically, yes.
Mr. McClung?
Copycat.
No.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Purkeypile?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
4-2.
Okay.
Mr.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2213 as amended on its third reading by title only.
Second.
Stand by.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Emphatically no.
Mr. DeVito?
No. Yes, I apologize, yes.
First answer only counts.
Mr. Purkeypile?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Nope.
4-2.
Okay.
This should be-
Ordinance number
She's got-
2213, an ordinance vacating an unnamed, unopened street located between blocks 1 and 2 of the Magnetic Bay Survey as platted on the Riley and Armstrong plat of 1893, Carroll County, Arkansas.
Mr. DeVito.
To approve ordinance number 2213 on its third reading.
Second.
Mr. McClung.
I'd just like to say one more time that I just think it's unwise for this council to vacate a section of street that may be missed sometime down the road, because it does serve an area of Eureka Springs that is not yet developed, that someday may be. I can't say how or when, but it could be in a fashion that that street could make a difference for it. I hate to give that up. And that's all I
Mr.
have.
Mitchell.
I appreciate the councilman's concerns, and with the fact of all this whole year, all the other accesses, 1,600 feet of road frontage on Magnetic Road, they could put a freeway into there with golden arches to identify it. It's not going to affect access at all. That was my only point.
Okay, stand by for a roll call vote.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Purkeypile?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Still emphatically no.
Mr. McClung?
No.
Mr. Mitchell?
Emphatically, yes.
4-2.
I got you 3-2.
Okay. That should take care of that. Okay, moving on to the next issue would be new business, discussion of parking garage.
Move to discuss.
Second,
Second.
floor is open. Go ahead.
This has been a topic that's been discussed since the 70s in Eureka Springs, the early 70s.
Thank you, guys.
Locations have changed. I think there's only one location that serves the practical purpose of a parking garage, and that's the lot that is partly owned by the city across from the New Delhi. And I feel the need to bring this issue to the forefront for a couple of reasons. Number one is we have an auditorium with 950 seats and no parking. And that presents a problem for any promoter or any event that's scheduled in the auditorium, because it does compete with the few parking spots we have servicing the businesses in the downtown community. We also have an issue of the collapsing infrastructure under that parking lot. And I feel that if we did have a plan in place to develop that lot to provide much needed parking, we have the potential of addressing a number of concerns in the community. If we had an existing plan, just like we recently were showed the master plan for the parks trails development, that we could avail ourselves of grants and other things. It wasn't but a few years ago the federal government was looking for shovel-ready projects. If we might have had this project ready to go, we might have been able to access federal dollars. I think it's important for the community that we start looking at the needs, and you can't dismiss the number one question that our visitors ask, and that is, where do I park? And it's a lot of frustration. And when we spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we do every year to bring people here and provide for them a less than pleasant experience at the number one reason why they come here, and that is our historic district, then we are in essence ineffectively using our resources, because people become soured. I know people that live at Holiday Island that won't come downtown to shop or dine in the restaurants because there is no parking. I know for a fact that people will go to my brother's restaurant in Harrison because he has parking right there, rather than come to my restaurant because I don't have parking. And it is affecting our community. If we do build a parking garage, it's also another good revenue stream for the community. Once the garage is paid off, that would provide a good revenue stream for the much needed projects we have. We really don't have the ability to generate much revenue in this community, and this would provide another basis for that. It also helps to reduce the congestion downtown. You can't escape the fact that people are driving around the blocks for... I had a guy just yesterday drop his family off and go look for parking. He came back 15 minutes later asking, where do I park? So I had to take him out and show him. So he was driving around for 15 minutes looking for a parking spot. You've also got issues with pollution, that as long as those cars are driving around, they're adding to the pollution factor downtown. You have the ability in a parking garage to filter runoff from your upper decks. That's something that a monolithic parking lot downtown doesn't have. I don't want to take up a lot of time this evening, but I would like to get the ball rolling. I would like Diane, who has access to all the studies on parking garage. Diane, or do you have access?
I have some.
You have some? If it's amenable to council, I would like to consolidate the information that we have and distribute it to the council members so we can study what has been proposed and bring it back to the table for our next discussion.
Do you remember, I don't even know if you were here when they did the one, they talked about the one on Center Street?
Yeah, bad location.
Okay. Well, I always kind of wondered about that, but I love the parking building. Was the second one that was put up for approval, was that in the same place you're talking about now, or was that further down? I don't remember.
The only one that ever went for any approval was the one at Center and Mountain Street. There's never been any other.
Well, the other one actually had an architectural doohickey thing, built to scale, and it looked just like the auditorium. I mean, it was incredible. Are we able to utilize those along with your plan? Is that what you're asking the ladies for?
I would like to get the information that we have, the studies, the proposals and stuff, and have it distributed to council so that when we bring this back, and I would like this to be an ongoing discussion. It doesn't have to be on the agenda, but I would like us to develop some kind of a plan to deal with that property, because there is a multitude of benefits to the community. One is the infrastructure below it. If we're going to do that, then we should also entertain the idea of, while we're down there digging this all up, that it should be in conjunction with building a structure on that site.
Okay, now what about also, in your planning, is it feasible to try to get an outsider to build it, or do you want this strictly as city from start to
Well,
finish?
these are issues that we can debate or
Okay.
discuss at a later date. I just want to have council kind of give a tentative approval to consolidate materials and to move forward with this issue and discussion. So that's basically all I wanted to do tonight, was to just,
Well, if you'll remember, I brought this up before. It's been something that's you have been talking about. Everybody else here that has retail downtown has talked about for time and time again. I think it is a perfect opportunity to address the underground issue to the storm sewer. The question I have is, I don't think just if you're going to do this, I think you need both parking lots, and that might be a problem because the other half of that parking lot is private. Correct?
correct.
Yeah, but I think that should be a consideration. I know those parking lots generate quite a bit of money, so that would be a costly thing to undergo. But I just wanted to keep that in mind.
Okay. So no vote on that one, so we don't have to fool with that anymore. Okay, moves us to number 2. Discussion of 2013 year-end budget cleanup resolution. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Monty Clark.
You can flip it back on if you want.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is just simply adjusting
Thank you.
the balances of the revenue accounts and the appropriations to what they actually were in 2013, and that's all it does. And you should have had a backup sheets to this that shows each one and where we were at the end of the year.
Mr. Mitchell.
Make a motion, we assign this resolution number and read it for the record.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Stand by. Thank you, Lauren.
The resolution number will be 641. Resolution amending the 2013 adopted budgets for the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the year 2013, appropriating money for each and every item of expenditure therein and for other purposes. Whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has determined that it is in the best interest of the city to amend the adopted budgets of the city, and whereas certain anticipated revenues and expenditures did not occur as previously budgeted, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that this Section 1, this resolution shall be known as the year-end amended budget resolution for the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the year 2013, and the attached 2013 budget documents present the actual revenues, expenditures, and appropriation adjustments for the period. Section 2, that the amounts of each expenditure classification in the amended budget are hereby approved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and they are hereby authorized and appropriated for the purposes set forth for the calendar year ending December 31, 2013. Revenues for 2013 are for the general fund $3,420,173. The appropriations are $3,225,000, $3,225,387. The revenues for the street fund were $525,188, and the appropriation for the street fund was $471,223. Revenues for 2013 for lot fee were $182,600, and appropriations for 2013 for lot fee were $173,625. Revenues in 2013 for the capital fund were $213,043, and appropriations in 2013 for capital fund $300,000 $300,780. Revenues for debt service, $1,219,129, and appropriations for 2013 for debt service, $1,149,232. Revenues for court automation, $8,082, and appropriations in 2013 for court automation, $4,311. Revenues for the Fireman's Pension Fund were $68,437, and the appropriations in 2013 for the Fireman's Pension Fund, $102,679. Revenues in 2013 for the Municipal Court Retirement, $11,122, and appropriations for 2013 for the Municipal Court Retirement, $7,911. Revenues in 2013 for the Water and Sewer Fund, $1,321,266, and appropriations were $1,297,733. Revenues for the Transit Fund, 2013, were $919,799, and appropriations were $895,540.
Any questions? Okay. We'll take care of that. Thank you. All right, moves us on to agenda setting. Mr. DeVito.
Just make sure that the discussion of parking garage is still on the agenda for next meeting. That's all I have.
Mr. McClung.
See, let's see, let me find it here. The wastewater line going out to Miles that's for the July 21st meeting.
Yes.
Well, I just have some concerns, and I mean, I hear a lot of rumblings that, oh, they're serious, they're not serious, you know. It's, I mean, if this hospital thing really is to happen, it's going to take real community involvement and some creative things. I think it would be in our best interest to have some kind of workshop, and I know the time seems to be a factor, for ourselves, the finance director, maybe our bonding company representative, and the local banks at least, maybe some others that in the community that you would maybe want to include, the economic development of the Chamber of Commerce.
Engineering report.
Yeah, we need that engineering report.
We're working on it.
You know, it's probably something that we, as the city council, the city of Eureka Springs, because of our dollars and cents, may not be able to do on our own. And it's like I say, we're going to have to figure out maybe some creative avenue to pull this together if it's a reality. If it is to become a reality, if it's a pipe dream, then I'd rather find out now. But if it is a possibility, and I think we have to give it serious consideration. We owe that to our community. I mean, that's what we're here for. So, I'm not. I mean, it's not an agenda item, but I think it needs to be some kind of a workshop arranged prior to that 21st meeting, so we'll have some direction before that 21st meeting, so we know where we're going. Just my thoughts. That's all.
We can set up a workshop. That's no issue.
I'd go along
But
with
we're not
that.
going to have, okay, and I'm just thinking out loud, we're not going to have any figures to work with. You'd just be trying to get people together to give us money, and I want to understand this, to give us money for a potential
Not necessarily to give us money, but you know, let's, you get the bonding company and the local banks, and we can figure out, you know, what can we come up with? How can we do this to give us ideas for structure? I'm not saying we have our hand out specifically, but it's going to take community involvement to do this.
So what we'll do is we just set up a workshop and discuss it then. Okay. Yeah.
For this,
Yeah.
if we're not going to include the banks, the engineering firm, the bonding company, and the engineering company, then you know what's the point?
I'm just saying there's no need to discuss it now. We just put it on the agenda for
Not
discussion.
tonight, no.
Okay.
Well, can we at least talk to Lonnie or have him look and
You don't
see
have to be
Yeah.
if he can come up with anything creative
Sure.
and then and
Well,
pass that on?
it'll be a concerted effort on our part to get all this stuff together
Yeah,
for the
Lonnie.
meeting.
Because I
Find
think
us
we need
some
to
money.
start with Lonnie before we go to anybody else.
Just $2.5 million, Lonnie, please.
Yeah, just look hard,
like that.
sharpen your pencil. Yeah,
Okay.
sharpen your pencil, you know.
Mr. Mitchell, you're up next,
I
sir,
have
on the
faith in
agenda
you.
setting.
Yes, sir. I'd like to add to the agenda the topic reclaiming all street and alley green space from parks to city control.
Okay. I'll second that for discussion.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll go along if you find me a Kevlar vest that fits.
Anything else? Anything? Mr. Purkeypile.
I have nothing more to say. Probably said too much.
No, this is agenda
Ms. Snyder?
setting.
This is agenda setting, yeah. Ms. Snyder?
No.
Ms. Eller?
I have a question, though. Does the state have any agency, bonding agency, or economic development commission that works with cities that have projects they want to do that they don't have money for? Is there anybody we can call on from
The
state?
Northwest Arkansas Economic Development District.
If is there somebody down there who
Yeah,
does
that's what
this,
we'll find out.
finds money? Okay,
We'll find out.
okay, that's all. I don't have anything for the agenda.
Council comments, Mr. DeVito.
No comment.
Mr. McClung.
Enjoyed the program at the auditorium that KUF sponsored Saturday night. Very good. The Yellow Jackets. Good show.
Mr. Mitchell.
No.
Mr. Purkeypile.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
The dog park opens on July 14th at 11 o'clock. I said I will.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Snyder.
Update on Sue Glaive. Physically, she is recovering from her heart surgery. Mentally, she's taking her own sweet time coming back, but she is coming back. And I would also like to wish happy birthday to my Marine son who turned, well, I won't tell you how old he is because then you can guess on me, but his birthday was Friday the 13th.
Mr. Purkeypile, did you have anything? Because I skipped right over you. I'm bad.
No, I have no comment.
Okay. Ms. Eller?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. My comments are list of events. June 24th. Pine Mountain has a free show at 7:30 p.m. June 26th, Preservation Society Awards, 6 p.m. at the Grand Central Hotel. July the 4th, it will be the 4th of July Bash, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in Basin Park. July 4th, it will be Holiday Island Fireworks at 8 p.m. July the 5th is Drumming in the Park, 6 to 8 p.m. July the 6th, movie night at the auditorium, it's Annie at 7 p.m. July the 8th through the 13th is Fleur Delicious. July the 12th is the second Saturday Music in the Park. July the 12th is the second Saturday Gallery Stroll. Motion to dismiss, to adjourn, quit, go away. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
7 o'clock. I win nothing.
No, it is 2.5 minutes to 7, and you said 7:05.